Good morning. On behalf of the Director of National Capital Region, Rear Admiral Ann Swan, I would like to welcome you to today's Change of Authority ceremony for the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, from Captain Cynthia Judy to Colonel Kathleen Spangler, followed by the retirement ceremony for Captain Cynthia Judy. I'm Captain Syra Aslam, Chief of Staff at Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, and I'm honored to serve as today's Master of Ceremonies. Joining Captain Judy today are her husband, Steve, their children, Mark, Katie, and Josh, Captain Judy's mother, Mrs. Diana Bevel, her stepfather, Mr. Jerry Bevel, her stepmother, Mrs. Drina Peters, her brother, Paul Miller, sister-in-law, Sarah Miller, and her nephews, Jacob and Nathaniel Miller. Joining Colonel Spangler today are her husband, Colonel Brian Spangler, their daughter, Mary, Colonel Spangler's mother, Miss Carol Russell, her mother-in-law, Mrs. Wanda Spangler, her father-in-law, Mr. Tom Spangler, her brother-in-law, Mr. Michael Harold, her sister-in-law, Mrs. Tommy Harold, and her nephew, Mr. Jack Harold. Distinguished guests joining us this morning include Lieutenant General Ronald Place, Director, Defense Health Agency, Command Sergeant Major Michael Gray, Senior Enlisted Leader, Defense Health Agency, Dr. Brian Line, Assistant Director, Healthcare Administration, Defense Health Agency, Command Sergeant Major Diamond Huff, U.S. Army Medical Command, Command Sergeant Major, Rear Admiral Retired Alton Stocks, Brigadier General Mary Krieger, Commander, Regional Health Command, Atlantic, Command Sergeant Major Rebecca Booker, Regional Health Command, Atlantic, Brigadier General Jack Davis, Director, Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, Rear Admiral James Hancock, Medical Officer of the Marine Corps, Rear Admiral Rick Friedman, Director, Medical Systems Integration and Combat Survivability, Office of the Chief of Naval Operations, Colonel Josh Seabriggs, Commander, Fort Belvoir Garrison, and Command Sergeant Major Gregory Kleinholz, Fort Belvoir Garrison. Musical support for today's ceremony is provided by the U.S. Army Brass Quintet, led by Master Sergeant Lee. At this time, Hospital Corpsman First Class Austin will present bouquets of flowers to Captain Judy's mother, Miss Diana Bevel, and stepmother, Miss Drina Peters, symbolizing the love and support they have provided to Captain Judy during her time at the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital. Sergeant Dennis Sick will present a gift to Colonel Spangler's husband, Colonel Brian Spangler, and Senior Airman Siegfried will present bouquets of flowers to Colonel Spangler's daughter, Mary, and her mother, Miss Carol Russell. Bosun, stand by to pipe the side. This order has been passed on naval ships from the 1500s to today. Spanish, French, English, Dutch. Yes, all the navies of the world use the bosun, side voice, and call to bring aboard and send ashore all of the ship's company officers, visiting officers, dignitaries, and VIPs. The side voice will haul on the ropes and raise or lower the boarding platform, so officers would not have to climb the rat lines, which were hanging over the side, when going ashore or getting on board. Please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem and the invocation given by Chaplain Barry Metzger. Bosun, host the side voice.
Side voice. Okay. Left, right. Hey.
Sound 4 bells. Colonel, United States Army, arriving. Sound 4 bells. Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, arriving. Sound 6 bells. Naval Medical Forces Atlantic, arriving. Sound 6 bells. National Capital Region Medical Director Ryden.
Please join me in prayer at this time. Eternal and everlasting God, we are grateful to have this time to invoke your presence upon this change of authority ceremony. As we honor Captain Judy and seek your providential care for Colonel Spangler, we ask your enabling hand and active presence be upon all of Fort Belvoir personnel in our continued commitment to providing for the welfare, the expert wholeness of care for our service members at the ready now, our heroes who have paved the way, our families, and one another. Indeed, we are so honored to serve in this unique environment with the best of caregivers and support personnel, military and civilian. We are grateful, no matter our position, to do sacred work that affects our patients. May we strive together in making Fort Belvoir Community Hospital and our clinics a continued center of excellence. We are grateful to welcome Colonel Spangler, who by your grace and through her diligent efforts has earned this appointment. Charge of the responsibility of caring for over 98,000 enrolled in the National Capital Region. Provide all that is necessary for her to lead effectively through each day, each joy, and each challenge. Bless her family, who continues to faithfully support and service. Her husband, along with their son Connor and daughters Mary and Jenna. In addition, we honor Captain Judy, who has led with distinction and great competence while treating all personnel as family, no matter what the day may bring. You knew what you were doing, Lord, when you in sending her here as our leader during this unprecedented time. She was in the right place at the right time to provide the right leadership. And we are grateful for her commitment to readiness and care, even beyond our hospital and our community, to our community as a whole, finding a way for Fort Belvoir's caregivers to make a difference across our nation while providing for our mission to our patients with great efficacy. Thank you for the true honor and privilege of serving under her leadership. In your holy name, we are most grateful. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Metzger. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. In the spirit of the tri-service composition here at Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, the ceremony you witnessed today is a melding of the time-honored traditions of all services. Reminiscent of the days when changes of command occurred at sea, absent the efficiency of modern communication, Commanding officers would read their orders before the command formally to establish or relinquish their authority. Today's ceremony will honor that tradition. As is customary in the Army, Captain Judy and Colonel Spangler will also pass the unit colors to symbolize the seamless change of authority and responsibility for the officers, enlisted, government civilian personnel, contractors, and volunteers who are privileged to serve at the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital. These men and women proudly carry out the mission by being committed to an outstanding patient experience, delivering high quality, safe, and compassionate care to all we serve. It is now my pleasure to introduce the officiating officer, Rear Admiral Ann Swat, Director, National Capital Region Medical Director.
Good morning. Welcome, General Place, Command Sergeant Major Bragg, Rear Admiral Vi, fellow flag and general officers, senior leaders, distinguished guests, family, friends. Thank you all for joining us today. I have the privilege of presiding over today's ceremony. In doing so, I'd like to celebrate the accomplishments of the men and women who work here at Fort Belvoir Community Hospital under the direction of Captain Cynthia Judy, as well as Captain Judy's accomplishments. We will conduct a change of authority to Colonel Capt. Spangler and welcome her to the National Capital Region Market. Once the change of authority has been completed, we will also celebrate Captain Judy's 30 years of dedicated service to the United States Navy. A special thanks to Rear Admiral Vi for honoring Captain Judy as our special guest speaker today. Just for the record, I'd like to say I had something to do with Cynthia Judy being here. I recommended her for the job, not knowing that we would be here today, end up on this stage, this position. In this case, karma was good to both of us. I'd like to welcome Captain Judy's family. I know you all heard this before, but it's important that we continue to recognize this. Family is what gets us here. So Steve, we've been here before a few times. I had the honor of presiding over 2 ceremonies previously, both in Rhoda, her incoming and her outgoing changes of command. I like to say Rhoda, Spain was lovely, but I didn't have to travel 12 hours to do the ceremonies, so it's kind of nice for both of us, I think, today. The weather was a lot better too on that day, on both of those days. Welcome to our children, Josh, Mark, and Katie, Jerry and Diana Bevel, her stepmom, and Drina Peters and the Miller family that are here with her today. Thank you for being here and welcome. To Colonel Spangler, Kathy Spangler's family, her husband, Colonel Brian Spangler, her daughter, Mary, you get to represent both your brother and your sister, Jen and Connor, who couldn't join us today in person. Her mother, Miss Carol Russell, and her in-laws, Mrs. Tom and Juan Spangler, and her brother and sisters-in-law, Tommy and Michael Harrell, and her nephew, Jack Harrell. I'm pleased that all of you could be here today to celebrate with her. Kathy's no stranger to the NCR. She was the commander of Raymer Clinic and the senior nurse at the Pentagon, and spent 2 tours in the Walter Reed area, Walter Reed in general. The good news is neither Kathy or Brian are going to be shocked or surprised about the traffic in DC. I seem to have a common theme every time I speak about anything in this area. Fun fact about Colonel Spangler, she was joint before joint was a thing. Both of her grandfathers served in the World War II in the Navy. Her father and uncle were both career Air Force. So Kathy chose the Army, or maybe she'll tell you that the Army chose Kathy. Either way, we're happy to have her here. To the men and women of Fort Belvoir, if Marvel Comics were looking for characters in their next big picture film, Fort Belvoir would be the place to begin. In addition to the heroes you serve every day, your heroic feats in delivering quality health care are astounding. Because of you, Fort Belvoir is the most integrated and technologically advanced Department of Defense military treatment facility, encompassing over 3,600 civilian, Army, Navy, Air Force, and public health staff, taking care of over 95,000 enrolled patients. As a result, you are the fastest growing hospital in the military health system. You have supported the DoD's largest family medicine residency, which is the 4th largest in the United States, as well as the sports medicine and DoD Inter-Service Physician Assistance Program. On March 7, 2020, you were thrown into the spotlight when the first Virginia case of COVID-19 coronavirus was confirmed in your facility. Like the professional heroes you are, you jumped into action. You began treating and monitoring the patient, as well as developing regular and close communication with federal, state, local, and private sector partners. In an effort to support the growing pandemic, you became one of the first military treatment facilities to participate in the joint telecritical care network collaborations with Naval Medical Center San Diego for critical care coverage. Your virtual visits soared 370% during the pandemic. You rose to the occasion like you always do, making the patient your priority, which ultimately resulted in outstanding outcomes. You became the first community hospital to receive the American College of Surgeons Commission on Cancer Accreditation, recognizing your commitment to high-quality care for complex cancer patients. You selflessly supported several high-profile events to include the presidential inauguration, State of the Union addresses, Operation Bulldog, Army 10-miler, Bushmaster, and Eagle response. All events required extensive planning with the U.S. Capitol Office, Department of Health and Human Services, U.S. Northern Command, and various higher echelon DoD and interagency partners. I could go on and on about these operations, but the point is you executed them all successfully. While I know you don't have, or at least I don't think you have, or possess supernatural powers, each of you has tapped into your understanding that we are here to support the increased readiness, better health, and better care for the heroes you serve. So I thank you all. Captain Cynthia Judy, are you really Captain Marvel? It takes a strong, agile, yet caring leader to rally this band of heroes, and we sincerely thank you for leading such a strong team. You're leaving your mark on this facility and this staff, and you can be proud of the lives you've touched, mentored, and led. Well done, in the words that I know you will understand. Bravo, Zulu. Kathy, you're inheriting an experienced, caring, and highly motivated staff, and I have every confidence that with your outstanding leadership skills, your passion, and your stellar track record, you will be able to take Fort Belvoir to the next level. We are in the middle of a tremendous change in the military health system, and we still have much to do to achieve success. I know that you're the right person for the job. In closing, Dr. Martin Luther King once asked, do you have the courage to lead in times of challenge and great change? Anyone can hold the helm when the sea is calm, but in the exceptional leader who will grab the tiller in the tempest and guide the ship safely home. Cindy, thank you again for your outstanding leadership and guidance that you provided during your tenure. You have a lot to be proud of, and I know your grandfather is looking down and smiling. Good luck and fair winds and following seas. To you and Steve in Charleston. Steve, the soon-to-be professional golfer. Hit him long and straight. For the team at Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, thank you for what you do every day. Keep up the great work, and thank you.
Thank you, Admiral Swab. Captain Judy, please join Rear Admiral Swab at center stage. Guests, please rise for the presentation of an award. Attention to orders. The Secretary of Defense takes pleasure in presenting the Defense Superior Service Medal to Captain Cynthia L. Judy, United States Navy, for service set forth in the following. Captain Cynthia L. Judy, United States Navy, distinguished herself by exceptionally superior service as Director, Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, from May 2019 to August 2021. During this period, as Director of one of the most integrated and technologically advanced Department of Defense hospitals, Captain Judy led 3,600 Army, Navy, Air Force, and Public Health Service personnel in a 140-bed facility with a $450 million budget. Under her leadership, her organization became the first community hospital in the Department of Defense to receive accreditation from the American College of Surgeons Commission on Cancer and received the Green Health Partner for Environmental Excellence Award. Devoted to the advancement of graduate medical education, Captain Judy served a 2-year tenure on the board of directors for the National Capital Consortium, training over 34,000 learners, completing 10,500 instructional hours, and greater than 350 simulation and education-related journal articles and book chapters. Captain Judy has been a transformational leader in military medicine over her 31-year career and has left a lasting legacy in the advancement of patient safety, quality of care, improvement, and readiness. The distinctive accomplishments of Captain Judy reflect great credit upon herself, the United States Navy, and the Department of Defense. Lloyd J. Austin III, Secretary of Defense. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The change of authority ceremony is marked by the passing of the unit colors. These colors represent not only the lineage and honor of the unit, but also the loyalty and unity of its soldiers. The colors are the director's symbol of authority, representing her responsibilities to the organization, and wherever the director is, so are the colors. The custodian of the colors is the Command Sergeant Major. As a senior enlisted soldier in the unit, she is both the spokesperson for the loyalty and concerns of the service members, as well as the principal advisor to the director. Command Sergeant Major Courtner is now passing the colors to Captain Judy, signifying the unit's appreciation for her leadership and guidance. Captain Judy then passes the colors to Rear Admiral Swab, signifying her last official act as the director of Fort Belvoir Community Hospital. Rear Admiral Swab passes the colors to Colonel Spangler, entrusting her with the responsibility and care of the organization. Colonel Spangler returns the colors to Command Sergeant Major Courtner, signifying her trust and confidence in the leaders, service, and staff members of the organization. Captain Judy reserves her comments for the retirement ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, the director of Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, Colonel Kathleen Spangler.
Opportunity, so now you can see my face, but I know when you open up the nice flyer, it's right there. So I had to make a little joke. But ladies and gentlemen, ma'am, distinguished guests, fellow command and director teammates, my mission partners, all of the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital teammates, friends and family who are here physically or virtually, thank you for attending today's ceremony. It's with enormous pride that my family and I joined the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital team today. I wanted to first thank, before I even begin any comments, the entire Fort Belvoir team who are behind the scenes. That includes the Operation and Emergency Management Division, the entire command team behind the scenes, executive services to IT. It is all of what they do today that made today possible, and thank you, thank you, thank you. So could we please just do a round of applause for the team today? Chaplain Metzger, thank you for those very kind words. Your invocation was spot on. And the U.S. Army Brass Quintet, we're no strangers. You all are still as amazing as ever, and we appreciate everything you've done, and it adds a special touch. So one more round. I should have done it all together. I promise you, my remarks are short and sweet, I promise. But it is an opportunity. I'm beyond humbled. I'm beyond grateful to be back in the National Capital Region. You'll hear me refer to it as the NCR in a few moments, but for all my teammates out there that may not know, but the NCR is an amazing place to be, and I can't tell you enough how grateful I am. Lieutenant General Place, thank you for your guidance, mentorship, sage advice, and the opportunity to be here today. And ma'am, Rob Swap, thank you. I appreciate everything that you've done in helping me get to this point. And I won't let you down. The team Fort Belvoir won't let you down, and we appreciate the opportunity. And then I wanted to let everyone else know, I wouldn't be here without my Army leadership as well, and I know Lieutenant General Dingle is out there virtually, and Major General Crosland, thank you for the Army leadership for, again, continuing to allow me to lead. So it takes everybody, it takes a village, and I wouldn't be here without all of those individuals, so thank you. But if you hadn't heard in some of the remarks, we're no stranger to the NCR. In our 25-year career, we've had the fortunate very fortunate between Walter Reed, Radar Clinic, the Pentagon, Office of the Surgeon General. I'm just really lucky. I see a lot of familiar faces out there, and we are forever grateful. This is where a majority of my children's school time they've spent. I've got friends from Maryland that are here with me today, and this is a special place. And I really do know how grateful and how lucky I am to be here, to be leading this organization, and I say this with you. And so it's a special time. Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, hospital of choice, I keep telling them. I'm not gonna lie to my Walter Reed teammates, the parking is a little bit nicer at Fort Belvoir. So I did utilize Fort Belvoir often, I did, that was one big plus. But it's a beautiful place, and in my comments, and I'm going rogue a little bit, but in my comments, the place is great, and that's all, but what makes it is the people, and it's you all. And you are the reason why everybody wants to make Fort Belvoir Community Hospital the place of choice of where they get their care. And I can't thank you enough, and beyond excited to again be here. So team Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, thank you. I look forward to many more awesome experiences, and I just wanted to put that in there. But I also have some teammates out here from the Military District of Washington, from Garrison, from our market, other NCR MTFs. I look forward to working with each and every one of you and all of our military medical service elements, and of course the Defense Health Agency, in efforts to ensure that we provide a medically ready force and a ready medical force. And again, it's all about streamlining and synchronizing how we deliver care so that we can do the best thing possible for any beneficiary that walks through that door. And I'm excited again to be part of that team. I wanted to personally congratulate Capt and Cynthia Judy. Wow, a job well done. You've been a trusted leader in this community through a difficult and challenging past 2 years. I am truly lucky to be following you, and congratulations on 31 years of stellar service to our nation. I'm getting like teary-eyed thinking about it, and I know you have a lot, but I just can't thank you enough for the incredible warm transition and being able to help prepare me for this journey. Thank you. And of course, I would be remiss, all things are not possible without God's grace, and I'm thankful every day for his blessings. So I always talk about God first and then my family, and I'd be remiss not to mention my entire family. If they're not here physically in person, they're online, so shout out to everybody out there. But my in-laws, my mom is here, my entire family and friends, mentors are here. Thank you for your guidance along the way. You all have been the backbone of Brian and I, and how successful we've been, and we can't thank you enough. I've got a lot of individuals that have traveled far, got up at 4 in the morning to get here, and through the rain. Of course, it had to rain today, but that's okay, we're persevering. And I just thank you for traveling across the world as well, and it means a lot to me. I have a huge debt of gratitude, and I want to make sure that it's the officers, the NCOs, the enlisted personnel, civilians, contractors, my Big Six comrades, those who have helped me along the way to support me and they inspire me each and every day. And I wouldn't be here without your guidance, those crucial conversations, and yes, sometimes that much needed friendly banter. At last, I did it. 3 minutes, not quite. I want to thank my hubby, my rock star hubby, Brian, my 3 kiddos, Connor, Mary, and Jenna. Thank you all for your continued love and support, going on these grand adventures all day long. I can't begin, words don't describe it. You guys really are my foundation, and I love you dearly. So that being said, Team Belvoir, I am thrilled, honored to be here. Look forward to the next 2 years. We lead, one team.
Whoa.
Colonel Spangler, and welcome to Fort Belvoir Community Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very special day for Captain Judy and her family. Today, she will retire after 31 years of exceptional naval service. The retirement ceremony is to honor those men and women who have dedicated years of loyal service to the nation. A person does not dedicate their life to just the organization, but to a way of life. Today, we honor such a woman who has chosen the life of a sailor in the United States Navy. I'm pleased to introduce our guest speaker, Rear Admiral Darren Vye, Commander, Naval Medical Forces, Atlantic. Sir.
Glad y'all spoke so quickly, because Commander, notice I don't see my 3-inch binder that we prepared our remarks in time. won't be quite that long, but beautiful ceremony for the TOA. But now it's time to crank up the band, turn down the lights. This is the fun part where we get to celebrate Cindy's admirable career. But General Place, Rear Admiral Swap, Brigadier General Davis and General Krugler, Rear Admiral and Mrs. Hancock, Rear Admiral and Mrs. Freeman, online with us, Rear Admiral Stocks and Mrs. Stocks. I'm going to break protocol because I think in my heart it still means a lot. Major General Lyon and Rear Admiral Bruce Kohler, Colonel Spangler, Command Sergeant Majors, Command Master Chiefs, distinguished guests, family and friends. But most importantly, the men and women of Fort Belvoir Community Hospital and NMRTC Fort Belvoir. Thank you all for being here today as we honor Captain Judy's remarkable 31 years of faithful service to our great nation. Cindy, it's a true honor to be your guest speaker. It's humbling, and one allowing me to provide you with that last salute in particular on this wonderful and special day for you and your family. But before I begin to honor you and all that you've done over your remarkable Navy career, I know I've introduced the family before, but I'd really like to thank your family for all of their support over these years, not only to the nation, but to the Navy. Steve, thank you for being with us today as we celebrate your wife's noteworthy career. Your support, encouragement, loyal devotion as a spouse for 28 years has been critical to Cynthia's success. We know that it's difficult and lonely at times, but we'd like to thank you for that service to our nation, to our Navy, and the sacrifices that you've made as we honor Cindy here today. Mark, Katie, and Josh, I've been able to watch you all grow into the teenager and young adults that you have become while working with your mother. She's very proud of all that you have done and your successes in life. I know that Cindy's success did not come without your own sacrifices. I know there were missed outings, events, celebrations that you all endured throughout your mother's career. Thank you for the sacrifices you made for your mother. Jerry and Diana, thank you for driving up from Jordan to be here today. Thank you for instilling such a strong core values and pride in service that you did in your daughter. You should be proud. And Brianna, thank you for flying in from California and sharing this special day with us. I know Cindy's glad that you could make it today. Paul, I'm glad that you and the family were able to make it in from Wisconsin, and perhaps I should have called you for some humiliating stories that we would share on stage today. But more on that later. Sincerely, thank you for being here. But turning our attention back to Cindy. What a way to end 31 years of naval career at the largest DoD community hospital and serving in a joint environment. Many of you are probably wondering, why did you choose me as your guest speaker? You know, as part of the NMC mini-tab under Rear Admiral Stocks, you know, I presumed you would ask Ricky, for those who don't know, that's Rear Admiral Freeman, who would be more sappy. I presumed you'd ask Jimmy, who would probably give you more of a ribbing. That's Admiral Hancock, for those who don't know. Or Davey, retired Captain Dave Collins, who would have been much more fun. You say you chose me because you've known me the longest. I think, in all honesty, you actually chose me because instead of telling you embarrassing stories as an anesthesiologist, you know I put the entire group to sleep within about 2 minutes. They'd wake up at the end of it and not remember a single thing that I said. But since I was chosen, I had to ensure I did due diligence in contacting all of your former colleagues for good stories. And if there are no stories provided, then I would make up some of my own in the form of sea stories. For my Army and Joint colleagues that don't know the difference between a sea story and a fairy tale, a sea story starts out, check it out, there I was. A fairy tale starts out, once upon a time. Otherwise, there is absolutely no difference between a sea story and a fairy tale. So bear with me as I share a few sea stories on the career of Cynthia Judy. Herein lies the problem. I reached out to everyone I know to get dirt on Cynthia. Peers, colleagues, acquaintances, former bosses, including Rear Admiral Burkhart, Rear Admiral Kaiser, who was with you at Portsmouth. She was the aide to Rear Admiral Burkhart. I even reached out to the Chief's mess, including Master Chief Spencer. For those of you who know Master Chief Spencer, if anyone is to spin a yarn, whether it is true or not, it is Master Chief Spencer. No one, including the minicab, gave me anything. Is Cindy Lou that pure? Is she that innocent? it got me thinking, how could little sis, as we've affectionately called her, have no one coming forward telling me stories? Or stories that pass about mold monsters. Stories passed about, where's Dexter? Stories passed about, am I on the list? There were stories of letters that went out to hundreds of thousands of beneficiaries with phone numbers that I won't say what they actually dialed into, but let's just say it was of adult content. There was decision artwork that was made. And many more. But little sis, while always present in these stories, was never truly associated as the one the story was about. That's when it hit me. She is the ultimate persona of little sis. She instituted everything. She got caught at nothing and ensured all others were associated for being responsible for all of it. Seriously, the reason I know Cindy is because 14 years ago, when I was Director of Surgical Services at Portsmouth, I lost an Associate Director, not in that way, she retired, who many know as an icon in the surgical services in the Navy. That was Capt. Saunders. I was asked by Rear Admiral Kaiser, who was the commander at the time, who I wanted as my replacement. Not skipping a beat, I quickly shouted out, at that time, Commander Judy. Cindy was currently serving as a facilitator to the board. Rear Admiral Kaiser's words were just as flattering and just as instantaneously as he replied, yes, isn't she great? As Cindy knows, we both took a lot of grief for that selection. How do you select an OR nurse, not select an OR nurse for this job? The simple answer, Cindy has the God factor. I use that term a lot for those that know me. And it's for those who, no matter the issue, you explain the problem, within the first 30 seconds, they've got it. And you feel confident that they're going to take it for action and solve that problem that you just described. I know you can all read bios, but it's important to point out, Cindy hasn't had not one, but two commands. Yes, this is a command, in the true sense. This one also being joint, her previous one being autonomous. Cindy was the XO at the FHCC, the only integrated federal healthcare center between VA and DoD, which also offered no shortage of challenges. No matter what Cindy touches, it turns to gold. And again, when asked, and you heard Admiral Slop answer this, who should be the next director of Belvoir within the Navy flag mess, the answer was quick and simple. Cindy. Cindy, you have done incredible things throughout your career. You've developed tomorrow's leaders. You've exposed them to new environments like the Ride Along program in Rhoda, exposing young corpsmen to life on board ships for our forward deployed PDGs. And that is still going on today, and actually a source of pride for that command. You ensured the submarine community was ready and able to support the nation's call, entrusted only to the science service, and in doing so, you became an honorary submariner. You are also an honorary corpsman, and in honor of you, an honorary chief. Navy Chief! Navy Pride! Navy Chief! Navy Pride! Navy Chief! Navy Pride! For those of you that don't know, Capt. Judy is wearing her honorary anchors as a Navy Chief, so thank you, Navy Chiefs. You balance work and personal life with supporting a beautiful family, raising successful children. Yeah, we can share our stories later about Mark and Travis at BMI, but you always approach problems with an analytical, common sense approach. Rapidly identifying the root cause of any problem and quickly working to a solution. A skill that few actually possess. Best of all, you trained your brothers. 3 of whom are wearing flag today. I know you and Mark, or you and Steve are going to enjoy Mount Pleasant. I hope you have a guest room for Terry Heights. As I told you, that's one of my favorite places in the country. I hear you finally told Steve you'll be joining him on the links. And I know you'll leverage more time to travel, see Katie and Mark, in those precious few years that you'll have as Josh remains at home before he leaves to go off to college. And now I'm going to come to a conclusion, but with a name like Cindy Lou who? I cannot conclude without a quote from Dr. Seuss. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. As Mark was considering a career in the Navy, you'd often say to him, I think you'll remember this, Mark, you're not going to be joining my Navy, you're going to be joining my dad's Navy, your dad's Navy. Cindy, I would say, and I know you're very proud of this, you did not join your grandfather's Navy. The senior chief would be very proud. You did not join Steve's Navy, but I know that I can guarantee he's bursting with pride in all of you have done. You joined Cindy's Navy, and you did it well. You should be proud of all you have accomplished and all you have touched. I know we are. Well done, Cindy, and I wish you nothing but fair winds and following seas.
Thank you, Admiral Vi. At this time, we would like to recognize Captain Judy's family. Will Steve, Mark, Katie, and Josh join Captain Judy at center stage? From deployments to new schools, military children are faced with unique challenges that ordinary youth do not experience. Today, Captain Judy is presenting each of her children with the Military Child Medal in appreciation for their support and love throughout her career. The certificate reads, "To Mark, Katie, and Josh Judy, throughout the years of your life, you have made sacrifices and served your country as much as I have done. I am proud of you because it was with your love and support that sustained me in those difficult times. There is no way in my mind that I could have been a success in the military without having your support, your understanding, and most importantly, your unquestionable love. Thank you for being there for me." Rather than presenting Steve with the traditional military spouse certificate, Captain Judy wanted to take a moment to acknowledge Steve's service in the Navy. Prioritizing her career over his, he transitioned out of the Navy and continued to work for the military for many years. This flag was flown in Afghanistan and over the Pentagon in honor of his many deployments. The certificate of appreciation is presented to Lieutenant Steve Judy for service in the Armed Forces of the United States. The certificate reads, "I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contributions of honorable service to our country. You helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, George W. Bush." At this time, would Colonel Spangler and Command Sergeant Major Courtner join Captain Judy at center stage?
We had to give you a little something.
This is kind of a surprise for Captain Judy. So the Order of Military Medical Merit is a unique private organization founded by the Commanding General of the U.S. Army Health Services Command in April 1982 to recognize excellence and promote fellowship and esprit de corps amongst Army Medical Department personnel. Membership in the order denotes distinguished service, which is recognized by the senior leadership of the AMED. We are fortunate today to be able to recognize an outstanding leader for honorary introduction into the order. Will all members of the order present here today please stand? Remaining guests can remain seated for the reading of the award. Be it known that the President, by virtue of the authority vested in him and upon recommendation of the Advisory Council, confers honorary membership in the Order of Military Medical Merit to Captain Cynthia L. Judy, who through dedicated application of talent, effort, and spirit has made significant exemplary contributions to the United States Army Medical Department. Given under my hand this 15th day of July, 2021, signed Richard L. Ursone, Brigadier General, United States Army, retired, President, Order of Military Medical Merit. Captain Judy, you can stay right there. We have one more surprise for you. Now please welcome Oberst Colonel Fritschy and Command Sergeant Major Berendt from the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Germany to the stage.
Admiral, General Officers, distinguished guests, Command Sergeant Majors, Captain Judy. Today is the day to say farewell to you who served as Director of Belvoir Community Hospital, not only for the U.S. Armed Forces. You, your staff and personnel have taken over a large portion of medical care for the German soldiers based here in the National Capital Region. That's why the German Federal Minister of Defense awards you with the Cross of Honor. We, the German Armed Forces, want to express our gratitude and appreciation due to the fact that Captain Cynthia Judy has essentially contributed to facilitating corona vaccination for members of the German Armed Forces Command in the United States and Canada. It must be attributed to her initiative and cooperative spirit that a vaccination rate of almost 100% with the first shot was achieved by our staff among the soldiers and their dependents already early in late April. This enabled the command to independently and gradually resume full in-person operations, thus acting as a pilot project for other German agencies. Particularly worth mentioning in this context is that you, Captain Judy, never discriminated in favor of US service personnel, but always categorized and treated our members as command as equals. Thank you, and thanks to your personal commitment, you have proven that the long-standing partnership between the German Armed Forces Command, USA and Canada, and the agencies of the National Capital Region is not just an empty phrase, but a reliable and trustworthy relationship that can be built upon, especially in times of crisis. Your camaraderie and pragmatic way is an example for the Alliance as a whole and is reflecting NATO's basic concept to a great extent. Your outstanding commitment makes you a role model to all service personnel of the Bundeswehr and the way of your bearing and performance of duties. This award does not only express our gratitude for the support provided during the pandemic, it is a token of appreciation for the outstanding support given by the US Forces Medical Service to the German soldiers here in the United States day in, day out.
This is the paper that I got. I'll read it to you in German. Everybody who knows our language will hopefully understand. Im Namen der Bundesrepublik Deutschland verleihe ich Frau Kapitän zur See Cynthia Judy, Vereinigte Staaten von Amerika, für besondere Verdienste um die Bundeswehr. Das Ehrenkreuz der Bundeswehr in Silber. Vom 17. August 2021, die Bundesministerin der Verteidigung, Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer.
honor the flag of the United States of America. As the nation's appreciation for years of service and the low support, the United States flag is presented to the retiree and is of special significance. Each Navy Day begins with hoisting, the ceremony of hoisting the colors at 8 a.m. and ends with lowering them at dusk. Captain Judy has lived figuratively under its fold day and night for her whole career. Senior Chief Mark Francesco will now read Old Glory.
Flag detail, post.
Detail number 2. Attention. Side step, march. Forward, march. Detail, halt. About face.
I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over great institutions of learning. I stand guard with the greatest military power in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident. I am arrogant. I am proud. And when I am flown with my fellow banners, my head is a little higher. My colors, a little truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshipped. I am saluted. I am respected. I am revered. I am loved and I am feared. I have fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox, San Juan Hill, the trenches of France, the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, the beaches of Normandy, the jungles of Guam, Okinawa, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, in the Persian Gulf, and even today in the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, a score of places long forgotten by all but those who were there with me. I was there. I led my soldiers, sailors, and Marines. I followed them. I watched over them. They loved me. I was on a small hill in Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-torn, and tired, but my warriors cheered me on, and I was proud. I had been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of countries that I've helped set free. Does not hurt, for I am invincible. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of my own country. And when it is done by those who have served in battle, it hurts, but I shall overcome, for I am strong. I have slipped the bonds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over the uncharted new frontiers of space. And I have been a silent witness to all of America's finest hours. I have flown over the top of the World Trade Centers, and after September 11, 2001, I have flown over its rubble to remind the evil in our world that my spirit will not be crushed. The American people will not be broken. But my finest hours come when I am torn into strips to be used as bandages for my wounded comrades on the field of battle. And when I fly half-mast to honor my soldiers, sailors, and Marines. And when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving mother at the graveside of her fallen daughter or son, I am proud. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wait. Dear God, long may I wait.
Face. Right, face.
Host.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce Captain Cynthia Judy, Nurse Corps, United States Navy.
I'm not sure how we plan the sequence of these events, right? So, give me a second there. That's a lot of surprises all back to back. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished visitors, fellow commanders and directors, regional leaders, family, friends, and staff. Thank you all for attending. Your presence has made this event special as we welcome Colonel Spangler and her family to the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital team. That was a beautiful flag ceremony, and I just would like a round of applause for that. Outgoing change of command speech in Spain, I unexpectedly lost my composure on the phrase operationally relevant. And then again, when I handed my command pen over to my XO, Captain Capt, who's such a great friend. So today I'm going to start this speech with some recognition and thank yous to make sure that I get through it. General Place. Perhaps the fire alarm going off in the middle of our interview was a foreshadowing of a tour filled with unpredictability and challenge. I literally walked out on the interview, so I'll be right back. You set clear expectations for us to focus on your priorities with deliberate emphasis on patient safety, great outcomes, and DHA transition. Who knew that life would throw in a pandemic and some other significant crises? Thank you for trusting me with this mission and with this team. The politics of the National Capital Region garners a steady stream of unsolicited and high visibility feedback. And I've thoroughly appreciated your mentorship, your support, and your top cover. Admiral Swap. I've worked for a lot of flag officers, but none for as long as you. You've been a mentor, a coach, and a source of strength for me for 3 tours now. You came to the NCR at just the right time and shifted some of our focus from pandemic response and recovery to a battle rhythm that will drive performance in all key aspects of our mission. You are respected and admired, and I'm looking forward to a day when I can just call you friend. Steve and I are counting on you visiting us in South Carolina. Thank you, ma'am. Admiral Vi, brother. It's been well over a decade since we were working side by side in surgical services at Naval Medical Center Portsmouth, before you left me for Kandahar. And I'm just going to leave that there. You've been my director, my XO, and my regional commander. If it wasn't for you and my other brothers, my career path would have looked much different. You, Davey, Ricky, and Jimmy Jam gave me confidence. And together, we developed and implemented tools that have been taken and exported to MTFs worldwide. I'm incredibly proud of our Portsmouth roots. The years have gone by, and the time that the 5 of us are all together are too few now. But one thing's for sure, we will remain lifelong friends and continue to laugh at the same 5 jokes over and over again. I'm lucky enough to have a couple former COs who have remained invested in my career and have traveled to various duty stations to celebrate key milestones with me. Thank you to Admiral Stocks and his wife Joyce, and Captain Jensen and his wife Diane for your example and support. Your influence and encouragement made me a better leader and officer. A successful command tour requires a strong triad, and I've been blessed to stand alongside some of the Navy and Army's very best. In Rhoda, Captains Tim Quast, Rod Boyce, and Rob Jackson were my XOs, and Master Chief Cummings was my CMC. And together we set off on an adventure to define and deliver operationally relevant medical care and support that not only met all of the civilian healthcare quality standards, but was highly specialized and tailored to meet the needs of our military forces and families. We partnered with the line community and host nation to deliver incredible results in challenging times for the forward deployed naval forces in Europe. Here at Belvoir, I was paired with the right leaders at the right time. Colonel Clint Schreckheis and Command Sergeant Major Moreno introduced me to Army regulations, infrastructure, and culture. And while we're all part of the military, the service differences are huge. Our systems for evaluating performance, taking leave or pass, monitoring profiles and limited duty, ensuring a ready medical force, and maintaining physical readiness standards are completely different. And about the Army ACFT, Command Sergeant Major Huff, I'm much closer to my leg tuck goal. I'm not quite there. I will make good on that promise before my terminal leave runs out, though. I guarantee it. In the meantime, I challenge you any day to plank with Sergeant Major Courtner and I. Speaking of Command Sergeant Major Christy Courtner, thank you for making sure that we maintain service standards in the hospital setting. In the Navy, we call that brilliant on the basics. But setting the tone and holding people accountable is anything but basic. Your emphasis on uniform standards, protocol, chain of command, and training requirements has ensured that our soldiers, sailors, and airmen are prepared for their next duty. Master Chief Rawson, you are a bridge builder. The energy and expertise you brought to Fort Belvoir helped to define the role of the Navy senior enlisted leader in this joint environment, while shaping the future of the Navy Medicine Readiness and Training Command here. There are too many moments to mention, but that road trip we took to visit our deployed vaccination team, led by Captain Dumfries and Chief Deering in Queens, New York, highlights your commitment to our people. To the Chief's Mess, you got me twice, making me an honorary corpsman and an honorary Chief Petty Officer are two milestones that I will forever cherish. Thanks for including me in your seasons and giving me a glimpse into the sacred traditions of the mess. My grandfather would have been proud. Continue to work alongside of our Army and Air Force SELs to extend that leadership in a joint mess. We have much to learn from each other and our sister services. Captain Aslam, I don't know where to begin. You came to Fort Belvoir at just the right time and leveraged your extensive national capital experience with your clinical expertise to take us to the next level. You are the quintessential executor with a pace that challenged us to do more and be more. You held the board of directors and the deputies to high standards and constructed a battle rhythm that maintains currency on all of the reporting requirements. Quite frankly, you're the kind of leader that inspires. I can't tell you how many times I've heard the phrase, I hope that Captain Aslam will like that. And do you think Captain Aslam would be proud? That's high praise. I don't know what the future holds for you, but one thing is for sure. You will excel because it is who you are. To the rest of the staff of Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, my XOs, the front office team, the board, the sailors, soldiers, airmen, civilians, contractors, and volunteers, the list goes on and on. I can't name all of you or list reasons without getting emotional, so I'll just say thank you. Sincere gratitude and an endless list of reasons that I've shared with many of you personally. Colonel Spangler, Capt, welcome back to the NCR. You have an incredible service reputation and are going to love the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital and community. After getting to know you over the past few weeks, I feel like I'm turning over to a friend. I wish you the best of luck and look forward to seeing you and Brian in the neighborhood. To the Troop Command, Navy, and Air Force leaders, thank you for your presence, engagement, and partnerships. Your metrics are climbing, and you're demonstrating how the services can work alongside and within the DHA construct to get the mission done. To Colonel Seagrave, Dr. Mueller, Holly Mann, and the rest of the installation team, phew, just phew. It's been a crazy couple of years filled with challenges that we've addressed together. I've lost count of our town halls, podcasts, and articles. Our joint mission of supporting this community has been anything but boring. It truly has been a pleasure working with you. To my family and my friends who have become family, I'm honored by your presence and thankful for your love. Mom, thanks for always being here. Grandma and Grandpa would be proud, not only of me, but of you. To Mark, Katie, and Josh, growing up in a military family is just plain hard, and you've done it with grace and grit. You've made it through the years of Dad's deployments, frequent moves, school changes, and long hours. You are incredible humans with big hearts, strong work ethic, and fierce independence. This ceremony and career are special, but you are my biggest accomplishments in life. I hope that I've been mom enough through it all. I love you. 32 years ago, Steve and I were sitting in the family room watching a movie when I told him, hey, a Navy recruiter came to my class today and talked about this scholarship thing and said all I would have to do is serve for 4 years afterwards. The program seemed too good to be true, quite frankly, and I'll never forget our conversation about it. As any good college-age guy would say, his response was, wow, that's a big decision. You're gonna need to make that one on your own because it really doesn't affect me. And here we are. You've prioritized my career over yours for decades and been that stable force for our children. I'm the luckiest girl in the world. It hasn't always been easy, but it has always been worth it. Marrying my high school sweetheart was the best decision I ever made. I love you, and I can't wait for the next chapter of our lives. So those of you who know me and have had to endure my speeches over the past years know that I like to reflect on history, often relating modern day events to the past. So it's only fitting that I do it one more time. Here it goes. I'm going to look back 245 years for today's message. On this day, August 20th, in 1776, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson proposed our nation's motto to Congress. The Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, means out of many, one, and refers to the creation of this country out of many states. It also reminds us that America consists of people from just about every country and culture on earth, and that all these people together make one great nation, a nation that we all serve, regardless of what team we own. The early days of our country were not easy ones as our government and infrastructure were established. It was with effort and commitment that we became the United States of America. Over the past 2 years, I have seen evidence that our motto is enduring and still relevant. I've watched the facilities of the National Capital Region come together to craft a pandemic response and surge plan that maximizes our system to care for our beneficiaries and, if necessary, the surrounding communities. I watched sailors, soldiers, airmen collectively focus on service-specific requirements to ensure a ready medical force. This joint force rolled up their sleeves to support ICTL, 68 whiskey sustainment, TCCC, range time, HMSB, aircraft medevac load training, and an endless list of other requirements. We even filled service-specific taskers with sister service personnel in order to prevent deployments. Staff shifted from primary duties to new duties as we stood up missions that didn't exist, like curbside pharmacy, COVID testing, Operation Warp Speed, and COVID vaccines. All of this while enhancing and sustaining a safety culture and quality throughout the hospital. And in times of civil unrest, this staff came together to have honest and sincere conversations about challenging topics. They set out on a course to eliminate barriers and bias and improve our climate of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And our chaplain team was vigilantly there to build resilience and remind us that faith and humanity will get us through it all. Despite all of that, one of the biggest threats to our mission is the current culture of our military health system. The high-level conversations of the services and DHA trickle to the deck plate in unintended phrases like, that's their problem now, or we own the people and loan them to you for your mission, and that's not our job anymore. Well, I'm here to tell you that at Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, the they is us. We are the cornerstone of readiness and healthcare delivery, and in this sport, we are on all of the teams. When you say the DHA, you mean us. When you say the services, well, that's us too. We are deeply committed and invested in both sides. The future of our military health system relies on both teams succeeding. Our founding fathers had a vision for our nation, the United States of America, and the journey and decisions weren't easy. There is much to be learned from our history. E pluribus unum. Sounds a lot like one team. People are our greatest strength, and we owe it to them to get it right. It has been an honor serving alongside of you. I cherish the friendships and memories of the past 31 years. We lead one team.
orders.
Bupper's Order 0522. Official retirement orders for Captain Cynthia Judy, Nurse Corps, United States Navy. Your request to be transferred to the retired list was approved by the Secretary of the Navy. You will be transferred to the retired list with the grade of captain and with the retired pay of captain, pursuant to a whole bunch of provisions that I just don't need to read.
The time has come for a shipmate to retire. The ceremony you are about to witness, piping over the side, is very brief. It consists of Captain Judy walking between two rows of side boys and saluting as the bosun pipe is sounded. Do not be misled by either the brevity or its simplicity. Although short and uncomplicated, this ceremony is rooted in hundreds of years of tradition and is considered the most important event in a sailor's career. Being piped over the sides signals the beginning of the transition from the familiarity of life in uniform to an unfamiliar and unknown life in the civilian world. Soon Captain Judy will request permission to go ashore for the last time. Before she is piped over the side, I ask you to pause for a moment and remember that Captain Judy has been on duty in the service of our country, standing the watch for 31 years. Command Master Chief Rawson will now recite the watch.
Please be seated.
For 31 years, Captain Cynthia Judy has stood the watch. While some of us were on our bunks at night, this shipmate and battle buddy stood the watch. While some of us were in school, learning our trade, the shipmate stood the watch. Yes, even before some of us were born into this world, this shipmate stood the watch. In those years, when the storm clouds of war were seen brewing on the horizon of history, Captain Judy stood the watch. Many times she would cast an eye ashore and see her family, Steve, Mark, Katie, and Josh, standing there needing her guidance and help, needing a hand to hold during those hard times. She still stood the watch. She stood the watch for 31 years. She stood the watch so many, our families, and our fellow countrymen could sleep safely each and every night, knowing that a sailor stood the watch. So today we are here to say, shipmate, the watch stands relieved. Relieved by those you trained, guided, and led. Shipmate, you stand relieved.
Good afternoon, ma'am. You stand relieved. We have the watch.
Please rise for the benediction and remain standing for the departure of the retiree and family, the departure of the official party, and the playing of the service medley. Bosun, stand by to pipe the side. Shipmate going ashore. Captain Judy will now request permission to go ashore.
Please join me in prayer at this time. Almighty God, creator and sustainer of us all, we are grateful to begin the era of Colonel Spangler's leadership, seeking your divine providence and help. We ask your continued blessings on all who serve with sacrifice and great dedication, on those serving in the air, on the land, on the sea, and under the sea. Provide caregivers with all that is needed to bring hope, healing, and comfort for our veterans and their families. And we ask your continued engagement, protection, and favor upon Captain Judy, her husband Steve, sons Josh and Mark, and daughter Katie, who have supported relentlessly. We bid them the customary Navy farewell of fair winds and following seas. May your presence continue to bring peace and calm in this time of transition. All of this from the giver of all good things. In your eternal and holy name we pray. Amen.
Captain Judy will now request permission to go ashore.
to say no. Unfortunately, permission granted.
Bosun, stand by to pipe the side. Shipmate going ashore. Chief's mess, man the rails. Sound 4 bells. Captain, Nurse Corps, United States Navy, retired, departing. Sound 4 bells. Navy family retired, departing. This concludes today's ceremony.